Today, we are going to understand one of the most important topics in political science, the European Union. The question words 2 3 marks are frequently asked from this topic in board exam, so make sure you watch till the end. Imagine it's 1945, the Second World War has just ended, and Europe is in ruins. Cities have been destroyed, industries have collapsed, millions of people have lost their lives, and this economy is shattered. The biggest question was, would Europe once again fall into the same cycle of rivalry and war? European leaders realized that if every country continued to act only in its own interest, another devastating war could happen. So they decided that instead of competing with one another, they could cooperate. This idea became the known as the question of Europe, and that's where the story of European integration has begun. But there was another major challenge. After the war, Europe's economy was too weak that it couldn't recover on its own. At that point, United States stepped in with the Marshall Plan, providing billions of dollars in financial assistance to rebuild industry, infrastructure and economies across Western Europe. To ensure security, NATO was established in 1945 no, 49. Its main purpose was collective defense. If one member was attacked, the other members could come to its support. Economic cooperation also became a priority. In 1948, European countries created the Organization of European Economic Cooperation (OEEC) to coordinate trade, economic recovery, and the use of Marshall Plan aid. Then, in 1949, the Council of Europe was established to promote democracy, human rights, and political cooperation. The step by step European countries began moving closer together. However, the European Union was not created overnight. It was the result of decades of cooperation. The first major step came in 1951 when six countries signed the Treaty of Paris and formed the European Coal and Steel Community. Why coal and steel? Because they were the key resources used in war. The idea was simple: if countries jointly managed these industry, it would become much harder for them to fight each other. The next milestone came in 1957 when the Treaty of Rome established the European Economic Community with the goal of creating a common market and promoting free trade. In 1979, Europeans directly elected members of the European Parliament for the first time. In 1985, the Schengen Agreement was signed, allowing people to travel across many European countries without routine border check. The biggest turning point came in 1992 when the Maastricht Treaty officially created the European Union. Then, in 2002, many member states adopted the euro as their common currency. In 2012, the European Union was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for promoting peace, reconciliation, democracy, and human rights across Europe. But the story didn't end here. In 2016, the United Kingdom held a referendum, and 51.9% of voters chose to leave the European Union. This is historic event became known as the Brexit. Now the question is, why is the European Union considered such an important global power? Let's start with the economy. The European Union is one of the largest economies. For many years, its combined GDP rank among the highest globally, and the euro remains one of the world's strongest international currency, often seen as the biggest competitor to the US dollar. Now let's talk about the military strength. Although the EU does not have a single unified army, the combined armed forces of its member states are among the strongest in the world. Two of its major members, France and before Brexit, the United Kingdom, are nuclear powers. The EU also has enormous diplomatic influence. Rather than relying only on military force, it often uses trade negotiations, sanctions, and international diplomacy to achieve its goal. This is why the European Union is considered a great example of soft power, while still possessing significant hard power through its member state. However, the European Union also faces several challenges. All member countries do not always agree on important international issues. For example, during the Iraq War in 2003, the United Kingdom supported the USA, while France and Germany strongly opposed the war. This shows that the EU does not always have a unified foreign policy. Similarly, countries like Denmark and Sweden chose not to adopt the euro as their currency. In the United Kingdom, many political leaders believed that too much power was being transferred to the EU. Former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher was one of the well known critics of deeper European integration. Finally, in 2016, Brexit became the clearest example of this growing opposition. This attitude is known as Euroscepticism, the belief that national governments should retain their own powers instead of transferring them to European Union institutions. So, what is the conclusion? The European Union is one of the most successful regional organizations in the world. It has helped Europe achieve economic growth, political cooperation, and long lasting peace after two devastating world wars. However, because each member state continues to protect its own national interest, the European Union still cannot function exactly like a single country. And this is why the political science, the European Union is described as an alternative center of power in the modern world.